Hey, there we go. It's a live switch that I don't even make. Welcome everyone to today's show. I am here. Oh, wait, I have a button for that. I am using, let me move this one out of the way. I am going to do this. There we go. My name is Anthony Barocas. I am the chief gearhead here at StreamTEK, and today I am demonstrating not so much the numeric keypad. There's a video I made on using the numeric keypad, a $20 control surface to control the Director Mini, which is doing today's show. So that is this is my current layout with the current set of things that I have programmed and a whole bunch of buttons that I haven't yet needed to add, but I've got 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I got 14 more buttons for 14 more scenes or whatever else I want to do. So that's actually really cool. And if you've watched the show, I've got the countdown, and then the countdown at the end of the countdown actually pushes to a different camera and takes itself off. So that's actually really cool too. Anyway, I am glad to see you all here. Thank you all for coming. If you are new to the show, if you're, we are broadcasting, or I am broadcasting live on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitch and X, Twitter. Yes, on all those. Actually, there's two Facebooks, but that's neither here nor there. So that is what we're going to be talking about. Today is, I believe that's me over, is the today we are talking about the Osee GoStream Duet, and the Duet is the new mixer that is not available just yet. I believe it is on the way. I have a preview model for review. They just updated the software like last week to 2.1. And the key thing with the Duet is it is a 4 input switcher, which you can see right here. Oh, that's backwards in this view. Go like this. There. 4 inputs, input 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 2 outputs plus 2 UVCs so that you can record to media and also take in web. There's Ethernet, there's power, 2 mics in, headphone jack. You've got an SD card on the front for recording and or media. And for the Duet, you have 4 SDI jacks on the side here. And does that make it an 8 input switcher? That's the first big question. Is it an 8 input switcher? Kinda, no, but kinda. In that you can use macros, and I will be honest, I unwrapped the box yesterday. So I am not an expert in using an Osee GoStream. I unwrapped the box. This is the box it comes in, yay. And this one says SDI on it. And I just loaded the software onto the PC that is adjacent to me on this table an hour ago. So if you're looking for an expert tutorial, I will have a separate video on that when I have a chance to go through and really polish my understanding. But today is going to be a look at it where you are here, I am here. If you have a question, we can dive into it together. But I wanted to introduce everyone to the GoStream because everybody, in the, let's see, where is that comment? Let's go right back up to it. It looks a lot like an ATEM, and it kind of does. This is the ATEM, which we're all familiar with, the ATEM Mini, and this is the GoStream. Now, there is a model without the SDIs, but the rest of it is very much the same. So you look at this, and they kind of look the same in that they got the same kind of buttons, and they're the same kind of little wedge-shaped thing. There's not much different. I will say that even with the extra hardware, the ATEM Mini is heavier. It's notably heavier. So there's either a heavier heat sink or something in here it has more heft. This is lighter. But obviously the first big difference is the GoStream has a T-bar, which I never use. I will be honest. I never use the T-bar, so I would be fine if it didn't have a T-bar. I know there are people out there who love to have the T-bar, but you know, unless you're doing a slow dissolve between things, which almost never gets done and uses more data if you're streaming, a T-bar really almost, in my opinion, has no use in today's production. You know, most everything else you could assign over here, and then you have cut, and then you have auto. So if you wanted to do a wipe or a quick dissolve, auto, and then cuts. So that's what I feel. You know, unless you're going to go ooh, and you're doing a Star Wars wipe across the screen, then yeah, you could use the T-bar. But let me know if you use the T-bar. Are you a T-bar person or not a T-bar person? I'm distinctly not in the T-bar club. But I will say, if you were to do it, this is how I would do it, in that it doesn't stick out, it slides, and it actually is very smooth. It has a nice amount of friction. But if you are a T-bar person, then kudos to you. But let me know if you are a T-bar person in the comments, because this is a live show. You are here, I'm here, we are both here together, and that is why I do live shows, so that we can have this interaction together. It's not, you're not just watching me produce a show. You have the ability to ask a question, to comment, to put in your, if you are a GoStream user and you're a big fan of what they're providing at this price point, chime in as well. Let us know your favorite features, because that will help others who are watching the show who haven't yet jumped into that pond to know what they're getting into. I always love to say, welcome everyone to today's show. And if you are just joining in, I'd love to know where you're watching from. This is a worldwide show. Last show, we had somebody from Chile. We usually have a couple from Europe. We had Australia and India and all over. So I'd love to know where everybody's watching from. And then lastly, just want to say that even though the show is about the OStream Duet, you can ask questions regarding anything. This is not limited to just that. That's the topic for today's show, but throw questions in if you're new to the show. It's not limited to just that. You can ask a different question. So it is an open show, so to speak. So thank you all for coming in there. And as I said, yes, which many questions do you have? So I got the comments right here in front of me so that I can see. And let's see, Live by the Bay says, hello from rainy Tampa, Florida. Hello to rainy Tampa, Florida. Good morning from Pico Riviera, California. Welcome back to today's show. I'm going to come down here. Interested to see how quickly a macro can switch the input from SDI to HDMI and vice versa, potentially doubling our input capabilities. That's the key thing. It's not an 8-input switcher, but it's kind of like having a shift key, in that you can execute a macro which switches the SDI to HDMI. And in the 2.1 update, and you can look on the Osee Tech website, they have a nice page for updates, and they have a change log that says what's in each update. The 2.1 update that was just introduced enabled switching of inputs on the macros. So it wasn't until the 2.1 came out that that feature was enabled in the Duet. And continuing down the comment list, because I have it right here for me. Good morning from Lethbridge, Alberta. Welcome to Canada. Watching the show today. Being a Texas person you are, yes, I am based in Texas. Dr. Pepper should be sponsoring you with all the product placement you have going. Actually I'm a Dr. Pepper fan, so I've always been a Dr. Pepper fan. So if you see me drinking a Dr. Pepper, they are not sponsoring the show. I just drink Dr. Pepper, and there are other related brands. Sunkist is another Dr. Pepper brand. They own a bunch of different brands. So that's just me. They don't pay to be on the show. The show is not sponsored by anyone. Osee did not sponsor the show. Black Magic did not sponsor the show. Director Magewell did not sponsor the show. The show is not sponsored. If I did have sponsored, you'd see a commercial, and you didn't see a commercial. I am scrolling down. Let's see where else. Looking forward to seeing how this one works. It works like pretty much you'd expect it to. Welcome everyone from Virginia. Welcome Monte. Welcome. Great to have you here. And Kirk is in Dallas. And Philip Brock is in Kentucky. And that's all the check-ins we have today. Thank you all for letting me know where you're watching from. And like I said, this is a user-driven show, so throw those comments in. I'd love to hear from you. And we got a good audience today. And I have, let's go to overhead. I have both of these sitting here on my desk. I have a lot of stuff on my desk. I have a picture. I'll upload it later. It's actually very cluttered with 4 different keypads, these 2, and then the keypad I'm using to switch the show, and then a StreamTEK, which I may get to, I may not get to today because this actually has a companion module available for it already. So you can have a laptop and run companion and have additional buttons to control things on here already. But the thing that I really am excited about with the GoStream is the fact that to dive into the settings, and because this will stream, the ATEM Mini that I have, the basic ATEM Mini, will not stream. I don't need a computer. I don't need a computer to set up my macros. I don't need a computer to load media. I don't need a computer to do any of that. It has a menu system built into it. It has a multi-view out, which my Mini does not. And it, so it has 2 outputs in addition to the 4 inputs. And if I hold it up really close again, you'll see there's out 1 and out 2 in addition to the 4 inputs. So there's a lot of additional capability in this lighter video mixer that is enticing, because by putting the capability in the unit, it means you don't have to have a laptop next to you in order to be able to use it. If somebody hands me a different still to be used for the pre-show, I can stick it in the SD card or the UVC in the back and load it in to my still memory and not use a laptop. That is very different than the ATEM line, where you need a laptop or computer to do any such media management, to load a still into the still store that's in here. You need to do it externally, because you can't stick an SD card in here, you can't stick a USB stick in here, and you can't access the media store from the face of this unit. So very different, very, very different. I've got a couple more check-ins. LaSalle, Illinois. Hey, good to see you, Mike. Thanks for joining. And Don Cato says, salute all, like and comment and subscribe. Well, thank you. That provides a welcome transition to a bit of self-promotion, I should say. So if we go over here, again, if you're watching on any of the other platforms, StreamTEK on YouTube, Stream Technology with a K is where all of this content is. You can see all of these down here. That's the playlist. If you go to the home, you will see, it says that I'm live. There's if you haven't seen the NAB content, go check that out. There's 20 videos waiting for you from the NAB show floor. It's got its own playlist, technology explanations, gear demos, and the conversations and the producer conversations. Let me just throw this out there. If you know somebody that would be a great interview for the producer conversations, reach out to me. You can reach out to me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, any of those media. Send me a name, hook me up with some people that you think would be great to highlight on the producer conversation series. I've got a couple leads out there that I'm working out. I'm going to interview later this week, but I'm always welcome to more suggestions. Anywhere around the world, just throw them into the mix. I'd love to have your suggestions. Also, there's a StreamTEK. My internet connection was restored. Oh, great. There's a StreamTEK page. So I've got 51 likes, 76 followers. And also, when I scroll down on this page, it tells me that I've got no reviews. I'm not yet rated, 0 reviews. Hey, so give me a review. That would help. Say that you really like the content. Also on the StreamTEK channel, or streaming media producer website, I write for Streaming Media Producer, which is an independent magazine, trade publication. You could sign up for the Focus newsletter, the bulletin, and live event news, and you can read my review of the YC Onion Pinata Peak. I just finished 2 more reviews and sent those over to Streaming Media, so those will likely be up in the next couple weeks. Interview on DJI microphones, and an interview on the Blackmagic Micro Studio Camera 4K G2. That's the whole name. And then also, if you need to reach out to me directly for integration or consulting, I don't sell product, so I have no horse in the race, so to speak. I'm not recommending this because I can sell this to you and I will make money. I don't sell product. So you can reach out to me at stream4.us. There's a contact form up there. And then lastly, if you want to buy some stuff, I do have a StreamTEK curated store on the Videoguys website. So if you're looking for a YOLO box that currently, like here it says they have the Ultra on sale, or PTZ optics cameras, or KiloView hardware, you can get all of that stuff right there at the Videoguys store. The link to this is in the description for the video. I actually did remember to do that today. So thank you for bearing with me for all of that. And with that, I will go to my overhead view and got a couple more comments in here. Hello from TKDS Media. Good to meet you, Kevin. Thank you for being there. And hope they make a GoStream Duet kit in the case. What would you want to see in the kit? I'm curious, because this is pretty full featured. What else would be in? Oh, or do you mean in the case? Or do you mean like Videoguys make a kit that comes with cameras? I'm curious what you mean by that. So let's go to overhead and we go here. So the GoStream is, as you can see, it's a little bit larger. Well, I don't know why. Oh, because of the power plug. It's a little bit larger than the A10 Mini, you know, by a centimeter on the side. It's a little longer. It's a little longer this way. It's a little taller, you know, because if I can actually put my finger underneath. And when you add the SDI ports on the side, it's now distinctly longer and they stick out, but thankfully they're full-size ports as opposed to the Blackmagic A10 Mini using mini ports. Clearly you can put these ports into a small space. Note to Blackmagic, you can do that, so you don't have to make the micro studio camera with micro ports. You can see right here the port advantage is distinct in that, you know, you both have power, you both have Ethernet. This has webcam out, this has USB 1 and USB 2. And in the manual, I should probably get my glasses. In the manual, it says USB 1 is for webcam output, used to connect the stream software to OBS, or used to connect the computer control software. So USB 1 is how you would use their software control panel, which they do have. Use their software control panel, you connect it here to USB 1. USB 2 is for the webcam input. So this is where you would plug in a webcam, which I have. We'll do that. Connect to a solid state disk on 2 and do USB tethering. So if you're going to share your phone or a hotspot, you could do that in USB 2. So if you don't have Ethernet, you can use USB 2 for that. So there's a lot going on just with those 2 USB ports versus the 1. Then you get your 4 inputs, mic 1, mic 2, mic 1, mic 2, and these are very similar in that they can be mic or line level. You can switch them out to what you want. Headphone is on the back, whereas, oh wait, you know what? There's no headphone jack on the Mini. Like, for real? Nope, no headphone jack on the Mini. and two outputs, output one, output two, and in the menu, HDMI out. Output one is for monitoring the program. Output two is for the multi-view used to connect to the monitor. And then of course, you've got all your HDMI ins and your SDI ins. Now, you can select. These are numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. So when you go to select an input, you select 1 and what you want it to be, 2 and what you want it to be, 3 and what you want it to be, and 4 and what you want it to be. So that way you can have a mixture. You know, even if you're not going to try and overload this thing, you can say, oh, I've got two SDI cameras for far away, and I've got two HDMI cameras right back here by front of house. So two HDMIs, two SDIs, and no converters. That alone is really, really handy. Whereas every ATEM mixer makes you choose between, do you want the HDMI model or do you want the SDI model? That's it. They're all SDI or they're all HDMI, and very often you have to mix sources. You can have all SDI cameras, and then you need a computer input for PowerPoint. That's going to be on HDMI. I don't need a converter. I mean, technically, there's converters inside, but I don't need an extra hardware hanging off the back of this thing, and that I feel is worth it just for the sake of having that flexibility in the unit. Either or. I've got both. I can go with 4 or go with a mixture thereof, or it has NDI in it. So if I've got Ethernet and I've got an NDI camera, I've got NDI in here, and like I said, we got US UVC camera input. You know, lots of flexibility. Although personally, I think unless somebody's doing like a little show like this, they're not going to be using a little UVC webcam type of thing. But, you know, maybe you've got a converter and that's what you want to do. One more comment came in. Oh, wait, did I put that one up already? Go. Okay, somehow I ended up with a menu. Oh, I still got that's still the one on the case. Okay, so let us connect this thing. And if we go back to my overhead, I will bring out all these cables. I've got a table full of cables here. So I'm going to go, I think this is 3 and 4. I mean, the design, people say it's like a, it's like they're ripping off Blackmagic. But at the same time, they're so vastly different. From the T-bar, from the built-in menu system, from the power button. The Blackmagic doesn't even have a power button. So you can leave this thing plugged in, and when you're done, you turn it off. You can't turn the ATEM off. You just have to hope. So I am going to plug that's a UVC camera in the bottom there. I've got another one, but that's media, which also goes in the bottom. We have an Ethernet right here. I'm going to plug that in here. I have, well, they got kind of mixed up. I have a microphone, which I'm going to plug into 1. I have, I'm going to guess this is output. Let me see. Yep, that's output. So I'm going to plug that into, is that 2? 2? Actually, no, I think I want 1, which is the multi-view. Let's just go with that. And then I've got 4 inputs, which now that I've moved everything around, they're all out of order. Camera 1. Let's go put this one in camera 2. And then let's say this one's 3. And this is nothing like how I set it up before the show. And this is 4. So now you can see, let me move out of the way here. You can see, ooh, there's a bunch going on. I still don't have these 2 plugged in. There's another UVC. There's 2 audios, and I don't have headphones plugged in. But you can see there's a good bit going on. It's all set up here. This is their power supply, and it's not on. You push the power button, and it'll boot up. I did notice that when this thing fires up, the fan goes into high gear. You can probably hear the fan. And that's when it's booting up. And then after a few seconds, it dies back down. The fan has multiple speeds, and you can actually control the fan in the software so that if you're in a warm environment and you're outdoors and the noise there, it just went back. The fan speed went down. You can go into the software and ramp the fan up all the way and just say, just keep this thing as cool as possible because you're going to be asking it to do a lot. And when I was setting this up yesterday, having all this stuff going on and the multiple inputs, I could hear the fan go from low to high to low to high through while I was going through the process. So it may do that today while we're going through what we're working on. And so it's on that threshold when you're asking it to do a lot. It's doing conversions for all these things. It's syncing up all these cameras. It's probably syncing these cameras too, even though they're not in use. But that is what we have going on here. And if I think I have it right here. No? Nope. One of these buttons. So here's a side view of the device. Where do I have it? Or I hope I plugged it into the right thing. The mess of cables. Nope, that's not the right one. Oh wait, yeah, that is the right one. That should be over here. Ah, so that's program out. So let me come out over here. That's what confused me. 2, 3. That should be there we go. So that is the multi-view of the GoStream as seen. Let's make that full screen. As seen if you plug into output 2. So you can see this is preview. This is program. Those are 2 cameras that I have set up here. Those are both my SDI cameras actually, because I don't have them on NDI. This is my input 1 is my NDI 1. Input 2 is those are both HDMI, 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 SDI, SDI. So that's what it did. It switched to those 2. And I can punch across the top row. And then you could also do preview on the bottom. And then cut, preview, cut, preview, cut, preview, cut, preview, auto. Like I said, you can do that wipe. There you go. Nice wipe. And I did not put any stills or anything in here. And there's a super source, which Blackmagic also enables in the extreme models with 8 inputs. They allow you to create a super source with multiple pips and stuff like that. There is a super source built into this unit as well. And I believe this unit is under $400. So that is quite a lot of tech into this unit. And on the left here, let's go back to the overhead. On the left here, this is audio. So whereas the Blackmagic gives you your audio follows video, audio follows video, audio follows video, your mics up and down for each of your inputs like this, as well as your 2 mic inputs. The way this one does it is you select the input, like mic 1, mic 2, input 1, input 2, whatever. So input 1, now I can select audio follows video. I can change the level with a dial as opposed to going up, 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 down, 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 down. And then I can turn that channel on or off. So that is how one of the big differences here is that it put all of that in the span of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 buttons, as opposed to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32 buttons. And it's a little bit easier to use a knob. However, I will say the other difference that I'm going to give to Blackmagic is you can see at a glance if something is on or off. So if you've got, your 2 HDMIs are on, those have indicator lights that are on all the time. And you can see audio follows video status and things like that. Plus a reset button so that if somebody accidentally turned it down too far or turned it up, you can just reset that channel to Unity. And that's handy. I will say that is handy. And well, wow, we got a good crowd today. Thank you all for coming in. I appreciate that. Again, I am based in Dallas, Texas, and I just want to say welcome to everyone who's chimed in here for today's show. It's a pretty big crowd. Love to find out where everyone is watching from. So if you haven't already said in the comments, it's a live show. You're here, I'm here, we have a dialogue. So let me know where you're watching from. I love to know where everybody's watching from. And if you have any questions, throw them into the comments, because it's literally like I'm right here in front of you and you're standing right next to me, and you can say, well, what about that? And we can go look at it, because that's the whole point of being here for a live show. Otherwise, you can watch one of the recorded things. And now saying that, the comments are coming in. Ben Jeans Williams is in London. Thank you. Good day to you. And Kevin Fowler's in Dayton, Ohio. And Don Cato, no audio jack or capable to use USB-C. No audio jack. I don't believe, no, there's no headphone jack on the there's no headphone jack on the Blackmagic, but on the GoStream there is a headphone jack on the back. I'm not going to try to tip it now because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11 things plugged into it, so I'm just going to leave it here on the table. I don't want to start yanking cables around. Question comes in. Does the regular GoStream have 2 outputs? I believe it does. I did not get one. I started this channel after that one was out. So I started this channel after the original GoStream was out, and everybody had done their like reviews and everything like that. So when I reached out to them, they were like, well, we don't want to send you the original one. We've got this new one coming out. Let's focus on that one. Okay. So I do not have experience, and just to be upfront, this was provided by them for a review. I did not pay for it, and I will have to give it back when I'm done. But I don't have the experience. I have not been using the GoStream for months and months, so I am kind of coming at it from a newbie viewpoint, looking at it from afar, and only unboxing it this week. So that is where, just so you know where I'm coming from. Thanks for sharing. You're welcome. Mark is in Wyoming. Good to have you here, Mark. Philip Brock says, if you use a StreamTEK to switch from HDMI to SDI, will you need to pay attention to if you have audio turned on that channel if you are in a live show? Yeah, I would think you would, because if you switch the input, the audio will also switch. So that would be a good reason not to run the audio coming in with your cameras if you're going to be swapping from HDMI to SDI, because I think when you switch, you are physically switching. You are not like, well, let me take the audio from the HDMI, but the video from the SDI. I'm almost certain that's not going to be the case. And if I'm proven wrong, that would be awesome. But I'm very certain it's not going to be that. I think it's when you make a switch, it's a relay inside that switches from this input to that input, and the HDMI is no longer connected for anything. Mark Martlet, who obviously has experience with the original GoStream, says the regular does have 2 outputs. So Mark, thank you for that. I appreciate the comments, and that's part of the show. You can answer each other's questions. I can throw them on the screen and everybody can benefit. So thank you for being part of the show. Don Cato, got it. No headphone jack. Yes, no headphone jack on the Blackmagic, and you can't use the USB-C as a headphone jack on the Blackmagic Mini, but there is a dedicated 1/8 inch or 3mm headphone jack on the Osee GoStream, the original and this one. If you were buying a portable streaming mixer today, would it be the GoStream or the YOLO Box Ultra? Those are very different things. That's like saying, if I was to be a woodworker, or if I was to be a plumber, would I buy a pair of pliers or would I buy a screwdriver? You kind of need them both, but they do very different things. The Ultra switches and does multi-views and has built-in graphics generator and a sports scoreboard and guest comments and multi-channel ISO record and and the audio mixer and remote guests interviews and mix minus and auto switching, and I'm sure there's more that I'm leaving out because it's not top of mind. Whereas the GoStream is a control surface that has a mixer built in, but it doesn't do remote guests. It doesn't do multi-channel ISO record. It doesn't do sports scoreboard. It is not a graphics generator. It does not do multicasting. Like the Ultra will send one stream to 3 destinations, so it reduces your bit rate. The Osee does not do that. So if you're in a bandwidth limited situation and you want to send to multiple destinations, the YOLO box has that going for it. The YOLO box has bonding available for it. The YOLO box has a content delivery network you can hook up through it. So those are very different tools. And don't look at it as, I'm buying a switcher, which one do I get? Instead, what you should do is, these are the tasks I need to do in the order of need. I need to have 7 live camera inputs. Well, that rules out the GoStream because you can't have all 7 active, whereas on the Ultra you can. Or if I'm doing sports, I want to have 4-channel instant replay. There you go. That's one I forgot. I want to have 4-channel instant replay. The Osee doesn't do that. Things like that. Or if I need to have something that's battery operated on top of a camera, the Osee is not battery operated. You got to have an external battery. I mean, you could rig it up, but figure out the things that you need. Instead, if you say, I want to have something on my desk that handles both SDI and HDMI, and I don't have to look at it in order to be able to to my overhead. Oh, there you go. I don't have to look at to be able to switch cameras. I want to keep my eye on the sports game and be able to just switch cameras like this without even looking at it. Well, you can't use the YOLO box for that. You have to look at the YOLO box because it's a touchscreen. You can't put your fingers on it without actually activating anything. So figure out the things you need to do and how you want to do them, and that will determine the right tool for you. How does the audio sound? Have you plugged in the Rodecaster Pro 2 into the unit? John Wick. John Wick got into streaming. Cool. I have not. As I mentioned at the top of the show, I just unboxed it yesterday and just loaded the software today. I have not put sound through it, and I don't have a Rodecaster. I have reached out to Rode many times to try and hook up with them about their hardware, and that has not come to fruition. So I can't speak to that, and I'm just being honest. I'm not going to try to make up an answer. I'll just say if I don't have such experience, I'll just be honest with you and say I can't answer that. You're welcome. Mark Martlet, YOLO box for portable needs, GoStream for static environment. Although that saying, I have done over a year's worth of shows here in the studio with a YOLO box because it managed comments and it had the overlays and the countdown timers and the built-in graphics and things like that. So it's also the YOLO box is also good for static needs as well, but definitely for portable needs, the YOLO box definitely stands out. I usually have a monitor connected to the ATEM's HDMI out and have a headphones plugged into the monitor's 3.5 millimeters of workaround. Not ideal, but it does the job. Yes, you can do that because the ATEM will send audio out the HDMI. Although I would think if you've got HDMI output coming out of the ATEM, that it's also going to a recorder and somewhere else as well, since the ATEM mini doesn't record. So thank you all for the comments and questions. So I appreciate that. Let us continue on with this cool little box. Now you can see I've got MEM1, MEM2, MEM3, MEM4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 memories here. And then this is the menu adjustment. Here's where you can record and play media, and then bring on your keys, your background. You can fade to black and take it out of fade to black. You can do dips, and this is your wipes, your 4 inputs, and then your other sources as well. Because again, it will take NDI in. I believe in my interview at the Osee booth in the NAB coverage, and you can go back to the NAB coverage on my StreamTEK channel on YouTube. When I was talking to him, I think he said, you can double check me, that NDI was going to be included in the purchase price of the Duet. So technically that's 4 different ways you could bring in a live camera: HDMI, SDI, NDI, and UVC. That's 4 different input methods into this desktop switcher, which is pretty amazing, I think. Steve says, I plug a SIM into my YOLO box. There's another thing. If you need to be able to stream directly from the device itself, the YOLO box has a built-in cellular modem. You can plug in a SIM card, so you don't have to use your cell phone. You could use your cell phone for other tasks, and you know it's completely standalone. Whereas the GoStream will stream, but you have to provide internet via Ethernet or USB-C tethering. Mark Martlet also adds, Rodecaster Pro 2 into the GoStream mic input works well. Set Rodecaster to fixed output level, and gain on the GoStream to 4 to 6 dB works well. Yes, just remember, also in the menu of the GoStream, you need to set it to line level. You know, because if you're going to set it to microphone level, then you have to take the output of your Rodecaster and turn it way, 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 way down, so that it's coming in at mic level and doesn't distort on the input. So make sure it's set to line input. But speaking of that, that is a great transition to go to here. And then, I wish I had preset this, but if we click on this, now you can see I've got a menu. You can't see it really well though. Let's make this bigger. Over there in one is the menu. You can see I've got the audio mixer down the bottom, and it says on input 2, which is my HDMI input right here, I have audio coming in from this, not from this camera, but through the ATEM I'm using to switch the stuff on the right hand side. So there I have my audio, and that's coming in on input 2. So I can go to input 2, I can turn on audio follows video. You can see there it is, and then turn that off. I can turn it on there. Now input 2 is part of program, and then if I turn the dial here, I can turn it way, way down. And if I turn the dial up, 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 there it goes up. And then at the bottom of that, you can actually see a little, let me do me over here. At the very bottom of that, there's actually a dB indicator right here. So I'm just going to say this right now, that looking at these audio meters with peak hold, stereo meters, and they're very active, very responsive. If audio is critical in what you're doing, this metering and this capability outstrips what's in the YOLO box, any of the YOLO boxes, by a mile, because the audio metering on a per channel level, you don't get any in the YOLO box. You only get one program meter, and that meter is not stereo. It is just one bar. So which channel, is it an average of both channels? And it's also not very reactive. And other people have tested it and says, well, if I add 10 dB of gain, it should be this loud. And it doesn't follow normal audio logarithmic math. So this right here is a lot more accurate than you're going to find on the YOLO box. And if having accurate meters so that you can see if something is coming in only on one channel, you need to see it, whereas you can't see it on the YOLO box. So if you have something plugged into a camera and it's only coming in one channel, you won't know on the YOLO box. People watching it are only going to hear audio coming out of one channel, but you'll hear it in the headphones, but on the meter, you're not going to be able to tell that on the YOLO box. Let's continue. We've got a couple comments coming in here. Outputs can be any different stream than the program one. Yes, you can set your different outputs, and we'll get to that. Next up, don't get me wrong, I love my Pro and Ultra for all the reasons you mentioned. I just wish they wouldn't break things that already worked when doing firmware updates. Frustrating. I had a couple issues as well, you know, but at the same time, it's great to see YOLO and Osee and these companies really pushing forward. It used to be 5 years ago or more, a product would come out and that's it. That's the product. And you're like, but there's this key bug. And that bug would sit there, you know, until the new model came out. You know, think about it. Think about the ATEM line originally, you know. Something would come out and you're like, well, it would really be much better if this did that. And you could change that via software and it wouldn't change. And then the next model would come out and the next model would be like, look, it can do this. And you're like, yeah, you could have done that back there. But these days, you know, every few months, new features are being added and developed and integrated and pushed forward. So, you know, it's a double-edged sword. It's great that we're getting constant development of these products. On the other hand, it's a problem. We're getting constant development of these products and things change. So, yeah, it is annoying when things stop working. But that's up to beta testers and the development team at the engineering side to make sure that, okay, we made these changes. Let's go through everything else and make sure everything else is still stable, solid, reliable, and as I've often said, bulletproof. That's a key feature that nobody talks about, making things bulletproof. Coming down here. Did the Osee team mention if they'll be doing ISO recording of multiple sources to SSD at a later date? They did not. I also did not ask. Just being honest. I did not ask about that, and he did not bring it up. It does not mean the answer is no, but I also think there's only one compression engine in the GoStream, and to do multiple ISO recordings, you would need 4 to 5, the ability to ISO all that stuff. So I don't think that's going to be an option. I could be proven wrong. Just saying I don't think so. Mark says, amen, Ben. Steve says, YOLO abandoned the Pro. I'm going to disagree with that. We'll find out in the next month. But I will say, last year, before YOLO came out with the Ultra, 6 years after the original YOLO box came out, YOLO Live came out with an update for the original YOLO box. And I know a lot of their focus over the past December, January, February, March, April, May, the last 5 months has been on the Ultra. I will also say deservedly so, because the Ultra has a lot of promise, but it also needed a lot of help to get there. And so the engineering team has been sort of shoehorned into, let's get this thing working the way it should have worked when it shipped. So the resources that would be there to update the Pro haven't been there while all the focus has been on shoring up the Ultra. I feel once they get the Ultra situated, once they get the Ultra, like, you know, hey, listen, everything we said it's going to do, it does it reliably. There's no dropped or double frames, you know, there's no bugs. The audio is everywhere it's supposed to go. UVC works and webcam in and all these different things all work like they're supposed to work, like we said they will work. Before we add any new features, what we're going to do is we're going to take that and see what we can trickle down to the Pro and the Mini, which have about the same processor, and maybe even the InStream as well. So I feel that's what's going to happen this year, this summer. But you can come back to this video at the end of August and tell me whether I was right or wrong. So I'm putting a stake in the ground right here. Thank you, but thank you for the comment. I do appreciate your thoughts on it, and I will go right back to, let's go here and here. There we go. Let's make that bigger. So there on the right, you can see I have the menu open, and it jumped right to when I keyed up the audio menu. It went right to input 2. I'm clicking on the button for input 1. I'm clicking on input 4. So you can see me in the preview window over there, actually touching the buttons and what they're doing down here in the menu. So this menu is actually on the multicam output. If I turn the menu off, there, now you can see input 4. But if I turn menu, there's the menu. The menu takes over the screen. And this is what I was saying in the beginning, is that this feature right here is something I find very appealing, so that you can go in there and say, you know what? I just want to change the colored background. So I'm going to hit enter on the button. Color 1. I'm going to hit enter. Oops. I'm new to the menu. It's going to go back up. Enter. The menu button is not enter. And I did this all day yesterday too. Color back, color 1, enter. And then you can come over here and change the brightness. The current color is white. So we can say increase the saturation, make it orange. And then we can hit menu to go back, and then menu to go back. Here's your super source. You can click on that, not the menu button. By the time I come out with the actual tutorial for the GoStream, I will have that down. I promise. So here you can say you can enable the source, control, mask 1, mask 2, border 1, border 2. There's a lot of going on right here with the super source. I'm not going to do the super source today. I will hit the menu button to back out. Your key type, enter. I'm learning. Come down here to the type, Luma key, or enter, enter, chroma key, pattern key, picture in picture. So we could do all of those. I'm going to back out of this. Menu, boop, menu, come up, menu. Here's your Luma key, here's your chroma key settings. And the chroma key settings are actually, I did open this up, not the menu button. Chroma key, enter. Your source, your mask. So if you've got something weird going on in the bottom corner over there, you just bring that in a little bit. Your resize, how big you want to make it, and your lots of control. The current color does not match my background color, but you would change that. You would adjust the key edge. Actually, let me go into that, and we could scroll down. So yeah, the key edge is the bottom one. We can come out of that and out of chroma key. Key pattern, picture in picture, transitions. Like I says, it says wipe, not the menu button. I knew it like when I hit it. Transition, mix, dip, wipe, what kind of wipe you want. Dip, what color do you want to dip to. Your mix, how long is the mix. Your basic transition settings. Downstream key, fade to black. For streaming, I don't know why anybody would fade to black. If you want to end the show, just hit the end stream button. But there's a fade to black in here. Fade to black used to be great when you went to TV and everybody ended or started in black because there was always going to be something else. Live streaming, there's nothing before you and there's nothing after you. There's no need to fade to black, but it's still there. Rate and whether you want the audio included in fade to black. Audio mixer. Mic 1, mic 2, mic 3. And as one of the key things with the mic is you see that it's got a delay because Like with the YOLO box and other mixers that are syncing multiple inputs, an analog input is going to be coming in directly. Whereas the video inputs are going to come in and then they're going to hit a buffer so that it can be shifted and all timed up together. So you can do that wipe or dissolve between them. Well, that's going to create about 60 milliseconds of delay, 2 frames at 30 frames a second. So what you would need to do is go into your mic, which I have it in mic 1. So let me go back up to mic 1, enter, delay, enter. No, not input. Delay, 60 milliseconds, and then come down here and enable. Oops, not the menu button. So there, my mic is active, and before I uploaded the 2.0 software, you can menu, come out of that. Here's your video inputs. And you can see, just as we were talking about before, if you switch between HDMI 1 and SDI 1, down here in this list, there's no selection as to what the input is. So it's whatever you have set as your input 1 is going to be there. And then common, hard cut. This is interesting, whether you want the switching to be a hard cut, like if you've got audio follows video, or whether you want it to switch with an effect. I don't know what that effect would be, but that was kind of interesting to me. We're going to back out of that. Still generator, macros. We're going to come back up to that. Setting. Mic input. Mic 1 input is mic plus power. So it should, my microphone should be on mic 1. And I don't see it there. Mic 1. Mic 1 is on. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Nope, I've got do I have it plugged into 1? I'm pretty sure I do. Yep, that was definitely plugged into 1, but it's not providing power to this little microphone I have set up on the table. My newer microphone, which does work in the YOLO box. I use that on the YOLO box all the time. Boo, 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 boo. Me again, are you able to get a URL overlay into the unit? I don't know if it does web overlays. That is an interesting question. I know they seem to be really gaining in popularity, but I don't know if the GoStream accepts and renders a web overlay in the unit. Someone who has one may be able to chime in and answer that question. So continuing with the menu, you can see there it's reflecting the fact that I changed the setting, the input level. Hello, 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 hello. That's as big as I can get it. Oh, minus? I don't want a minus. Let's make that menu a little bigger. Let's make that bigger. And continue down. Let's go into the macro. Now, I saw a good video demo from the first GoStream about the macros, and I don't know if they've changed things, but one of the key things that the other reviewer did was he pointed out that if you change something in a macro, you kind of have to touch everything that you're changing. You know, so if you're changing an input, you actually have to say, you know, touch like the audio that's related to it and the timing that's related to it, like all the different aspects. You don't just like switch this and have the other things be the same. It was very interesting that you had to touch all the different aspects for settings, so that he was doing like an overlay, and it's like even if he just didn't move the right hand side, he had to like touch that in the macro, go through all the different settings so that when I turn it on, all of these settings are the same. It was very interesting that it didn't automatically grab all that data. I don't know if that's been updated in this one because I haven't done macros, just opened it yesterday, but that was something that I found quite interesting. So we will come into here, macro, sleep. So there's a sleep command. So I wonder how you activate that. There's macro 1. Now I've got a picture there. Macro 2, macro 3, macro 4, macro 5. So the ones that are programmed are lit, and I bet you if I push 6, nothing happens. 7 and 8, so you can record more. I would think that the macro menu would show me everything, but I think the key is, oh, I didn't run a USB cable. I think the key is that the macros are something that you would more set using the computer so that you can more easily move things around and adjust things. I have not done that. If someone has the original GoStream and has used the macros, please chime in the comments so that we can get that information into the show. Another thing that I found interesting in here is that when you go to stream, there's stream 1, stream 2, and stream 3. And so this thing will stream to 3 different locations. I still think there's only one encoder. It'll stream that one stream to 3 different locations, but uploading the data here is going to be quite problematic, which is why having the computer application is very welcome. And if you'll give me a second, I'm going to walk over to my drawer and grab a USB to C cable. I meant to do that before the show. One of the things I forgot in the midst of preparing a lot of things. But I do have the software loaded up on here. Like I said, I loaded that up this morning, so I have not had a chance to really dig into the software before starting today's show. So we shall be able to discover it together. Wow. Interesting. So, just so you can see what I'm seeing, this is on my laptop. There is a lot going on here, and it's very, very big. I don't quite understand the sizing going on. So let me go into my preferences, my settings, and see if the system is set to 150%. Let's turn that back to 100%. And then let me pin this. Ah, there we go. That is what I thought, because I actually found that Blackmagic does the same thing. The ATEM control software does not look at the screen size. It looks at the percentage that Windows is saying to size things at. So on my Surface, which has a super high resolution screen, in order for menu items to come up correctly, I have to tell the Surface, do menu items at 150%. But do everything else, do video at 100% on the screen. And the Blackmagic ATEM software does the same exact thing. It says, oh, 150%? Okay, here, poof. And it's like bigger than the screen. And I'm like, oh, crap. I can't work with this. And you have to tell the Windows to do 100%, and then everything fits on the screen. Brian Thames, greeting all. Greeting. Is that wave sound the fan on the unit coming through your microphone? Yes, it is. It's actually, it just kicked up a second ago. So if you heard it come up, that is the fan. But then again, the microphone is right here. I can touch the mic and I can touch the Osee. So they're both within this distance. So they're very close to each other. Generally, if you're further from a microphone, it's not going to be an issue. But if you plan on using it on a tabletop to switch your own thing, yes, when it switches into high, it is definitely audible. What you don't hear is I actually have an extra fan blowing into the ATEM off to the side, but I went and I purchased a silent fan so that's actually blowing into the side of the ATEM. Byron James Jones says, greetings all. Greetings to you, Byron. And yes, it just kicked in again. So if that's what you're hearing, that is definitely the GoStream fan kicking into high gear. So, oops, sorry. This behind me is this is the GoStream control panel. So you can see it's giving you both the settings and your preview program and all that other information. It's actually bigger over here than it is on my laptop. And you know, you can set your streams to go right here, your video playback, your device. There's the GoStream, record, start, stop. I can't record. I do have a USB stick selected, but I'm using that, which is also the UVC input. So I'm going to try to connect. It's powering the camera. The camera is on, but I'm going to try to actually bring that in as an input. So here's the switcher. There's my color 1, my color 2. Whoa, that goes really fast. Upstream key, transitions, downstream key, fade to black, super source, your audio mixer. Well, that's not very useful. Still images, there's your still store. Here's your stream settings and your destination. So this, if you are going to do multiple destination streaming, it's a heck of a lot easier to copy something from a URL and paste it over here than it would be to try and enter it in using the control panel. So there is still times when using software control on a laptop is going to really benefit you. But for basic settings and adjustments, being able to do it on the GoStream itself, I think is very, very handy. Play and record. There's your playback. Here's your video list. And then your recording. And then I guess down there it is the recording quality, high, medium, and low. And then how much space is left in the media, which I do not have connected. The one thing I don't see over here, which I thought I might, is there's where the mic input, mic plus power, that's what I had turned on mic 1. I'm pretty sure I'm plugged into mic 1. Yes, I am plugged into mic 1. It's not, and the mic is not turning on with mic plus power. Mic 2. Source, here we go. In 1 is SDI, in 2 is SDI, in 3 is SDI, in 4 is SDI. Well, that's not right, because when you look at my multi-view, in 1 is my HDMI. And if I unplug, there it is. Yeah, that's my HDMI. So that's wrong. In 3, let's go to 3 and switch it between RG. Why doesn't it just say HDMI? Source selection. I just want to go to HDMI. All right, so there's HDMI. Interesting that it doesn't let me just say HDMI. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that is a different input on 3, which is right here. And I have 3 coming in from a camera, and I have 3 coming in from an HDMI source, which is right up here. And what I did was I said auto, and it went to HDMI. And if I take 3 out, it switches to the camera. Now, you're not going to go unplugging things, and it switches back to HDMI. So I guess it prioritizes HDMI and will drop to SDI, but I'm surprised that there's not a, let me go to laptop. Sorry, you're not looking at that. I'm surprised that it says SDI, auto, RGB full, RGA limit, YCRCB. This is very odd. Aux, SD card, UVC camera. Let's go there. See if we can get my UVC camera in. Let's go back to the switcher. There's my aux right there. So that's my UVC camera. And technically, or is it the hand? No? It's an OBSBot webcam, and I don't like that. No? It's zooming just fine, but it's not tracking. I thought it was the hand. Normally you go like that and it'll track. But anyway, I could just, there. And then I can go like that. Zoom in. There we go. So there is a USB camera, and you can see between my input 1 and the UVC input, there is a delay between these 2 cameras. Comment came in. Phantom power was mentioned even though the deck uses 3.5mm jack. Is that possible? Yes. DSLRs and other devices provide phantom power for these little type of microphones, and that's a very common thing. And so I don't want you to think it's not the same as like a professional microphone phantom power. It's more like a little bit of plug-in power, they call it. And that was supposed to provide the power to the microphone. When I do it on, I have done it on the A10 Mini, and it works. And I have done it on the YOLO box, and it works. This same microphone. And so I know the microphone works with the power. I have not used this particular cable. I usually use a different cable, but this was longer, so I switched cables. Maybe it's the cable. I really don't think so. But just to clarify that the phantom power that I mentioned is not necessarily typical microphone phantom power. It's more of plug-in power, usually provided by DSLRs to an external microphone. A very small electric type of microphone like this. But thank you for the comment. And again, this is a live show. If you have comments or questions, throw them in. We are currently working through the... I don't know why this thing is being so finicky. There. The Osee GoStream Duet, which if you hear the fan noise, that's the fan on the Osee kicking in the high gear, because we've got 2 SDIs, 4 HDMIs in here, and a UVC. So now technically I can, let's go to the output of this. I can switch between 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I've got 5 camera inputs plus super source, which I don't have programmed, still 1, which I don't have programmed, still 2. So you got 2 still inputs, And I believe the still inputs are where you access your video clips as well. So if you bring up a video clip in those buffers there, that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inputs in addition to the multi-channel super source, which is pretty amazing when you compare it to the A10 Mini, which is giving you 4 plus a still and a color. It says black, but you can program it to be a color. And, you know, always having the ability to see what's in program and what's in preview. So you can go between a close-up and here's your super source, and then cut between that and then cut back. You know, so you get your multi-view. Let's go here. You get your multi-view down here in the super source, and then you can cut between this and a single camera, and then a different single camera, and then a different single camera, you know, and then be able to call those up in preview before you do a fade to them, a wipe to them, or a cut. Or a dip. Let's try that dip. Ooh, yep, that was that orange we fixed before. And then we could just go to, let's leave it on wipe, just for fun. What I wanted to do is let's go to play, record, stream. Let's see, outsource. HDMI 1 can be program or any of the inputs or multi-view. HDMI 2 can be any of the inputs, aux, program, preview, or multi-view. And your streaming, recording, and UVC. Again, this is where I said, oh, sorry. Let me go through those again. Right here, you can see your out source. Right here is your HDMI 1, can be any of your inputs, 1, 2, 3, 4, aux, program, preview, or multi-view. You have the same exact settings for your HDMI 2 in 1, 2, 3, 4, aux, preview, program, multi-view. Let me make that larger. And looks like my numeric keypad went to sleep. So I'm just going to tap it right here. And then down here, it says your streaming and recording and UVC is going to be program. So your UVC output is what they're talking about there. If you are using the USB for your output to Zoom or something else, it's all one thing, which, like I said at the beginning, is indicative that it has one compression engine, one stream, and that one stream goes everywhere. So that one thing that you compress can be in 1, 2, 3, 4, aux, preview, program, or multi-view. I don't know why you'd want to stream your multi-view, but if you wanted to, it's there as a choice. But what what that kind of means is you could leverage your 2 HDMI outs and your UVC to a laptop. So your UVC to the laptop could be program. Then you've got a multi-view in front of you, which shows you preview program. And then you're using the other output to aux switch what goes on the screen in the room, all through this box. Technically 3 different outputs. You got your program going to your stream, your program going to record, your program going out to your audience on WebEx. You've got your slides, which are coming into here, your slides going to the people in the room, and then a multi-view in front of you on a screen showing you all that stuff that's going on. That is some slick business right there. Your out format, 1080p 60, and you could bring it down to 1080p 24. It will restart the device. I'm not going to do that. Out 1 color space, out 2 color space, in case you needed to change that. Button brightness, I've got the button brightness almost all the way down, and if you looked at the overhead, it's super bright. There you go, that's button brightness all the way up. and that's button brightness. There you go. That's 0. Button brightness is 0 now. And then also down at the bottom, let's go, where was I? Laptop. Down at the bottom, fan control, auto, high and low. You can hear it cycling between high and low while we're doing the show because it's heating up and the thermostat is saying do that. I can force it into low if it's an issue, but then the temperature will continue to increase. Or if you're in an area where the noise of the device is not an issue and you're in a hot environment, you can force it into high just to make sure you're getting maximum airflow through the unit. And the way it's designed, go to overhead, this right here, I can feel the warmth coming out. So what it's doing is, yeah, over here it's cool. There's little openings along the top here and this side. So it's pulling air in here across the whole unit and expelling it over here. Although not really expelling it that well. A good blower fan would be good. Like I have blowing into my ATEM, I have a blower fan like this. And this sucks the air and, you know, I can feel the fan out to here. Admittedly, it's bigger, but it's really blowing the air, which is why I got it. And it sits next to my ATEM Mini and blows cool air in. That's what that does. Interesting. It cut to 1. There you go, 2. So there we go. And then I can switch back to laptop. It's cycling on its own. Source selection, storage device, SD card, because I don't have media selected. If I did, I would disconnect my UVC camera. Let's try it. I am going to disconnect my UVC camera, which we saw it worked. And I'm going to plug in a USB stick and see if the GoStream recognizes it. It's on a cable because these two USB-C ports are very close together. It's not like they're spread out enough to really make a whole lot of room. And now you can see it says SD card and my red stick, which is actually my red stick. So it worked. I was able to plug in a USB stick and it says, all right, I can record to that, which is really great. Got another person joining us. Hey, Ken, thank you for being there, watching from Northwest Ohio. And again, like I always say, I love it when people chime in and letting me know where they're watching from. And Royal Entertainment SKN says, greetings to all. Thank you very much for being here. Again, this is a live show. If you have questions, if you have a comment, if you have a concern, if you want to, tell the manager something, that's me. So put it in the comments. Be part of the show. Because that's why we're here live. So that you're here, I'm here, we're both exploring this device together. This device right here, the GoStream from Osee, and this is the Duet with the 4 SDI inputs. And interestingly enough, I guess I'm going to be sending in a note to Osee that side by side, my side by side button doesn't work. That button works. There we go. Now it works. Interesting. Let me get rid of that comment. Good afternoon from Spooner, Wyoming, Wisconsin. Sorry. Wow, that took a minute. Bert, thank you for being there. And the thing that I find interesting is, as we were talking about before, when I come up here to 3, I can choose between SDI, but I can't manually choose HDMI. I can choose auto, which will default to HDMI, but I can't manually choose. So it kind of makes it like setting a macro as to what this would change between SDI and auto. It makes it very odd that I feel your inputs, like input 3, should be SDI or HDMI. I really don't understand why somebody would choose RGB limit as an input into 3. Now, maybe if your HDMI is coming in from a computer, that would be what you would want to do there. But I would definitely think it would be SDI, HDMI or auto, meaning that if you have one thing or the other plugged in, it'll just pick whatever you've got, which, I mean, that would make it very handy, because then you could just plug stuff in 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, and not have to worry about it. It would just find whatever's plugged in and use it. That would be great. Auto makes a whole lot of sense. But at the same time, if you've got 4 things plugged in and 4 things plugged in, and you want to manually tell it switch between SDI and HDMI, go switch between SDI and HDMI, you have to be able to, in that selection over there, manually tell it to use HDMI. And auto is not, to me, audio is not doing that. Question comes in, USB audio in, an option on the Osee. It has the USB specifically says webcam input on USB 2. It does not say UVA, which would be USB audio. It doesn't specifically say that. I don't have a USB microphone here to test it. Given that it accepted the webcam just fine, I'm willing to believe that USB audio would work, but I'm just being honest that I can't test it, I haven't tested it, and I can't answer it for sure. So, thank you for the question. I'm just trying to help you to the best of my ability. And then let's come up here to still images. See if we add. And, oh, I was going to try and load something from, I thought it would look at the, let's go back to my multi-view. Let's make that bigger. Not stream. I'm going to try to load a piece of media playback. All right, so let's come up here to my media. Still generator. Oh, maybe I misspoke. Maybe you can't. Oh, there it is. Still upload. Yeah, we're going to load picture. Nope, I'm not able to load an image from the SD card that I have plugged in through the built-in menu, which I thought we could. Maybe I'm not doing it right. New York Searle? Is that a girl? New York Curl. Hello from New York City. Hello to you. So maybe I misspoke. Maybe I was incorrect in that loading an image from the SD card. Yeah, I'm not seeing a load icon here. You can record, but I don't see the ability to load the media. Let's go back to here. Play and record. Playback. Play in group. Video list. Repeat single video. This is very interesting. Like I said, I have not used the Osee GoStream before. I know there are people who are watching who have been using it. So, hey, feel free to jump in and tell me how to load this stuff, because I apparently mistakenly thought that you could load media from the SD card on the GoStream directly. Nope, gonna go up one. I thought maybe I could grab a video. Let's go up one. Stills. Coffee house, okay. There you go, still one. There's a coffee house. So now it's in there, and if I am in here and I go back to still selection, so that's what it's doing there. You can select you see at the bottom right down here where it says still one. If I had other stills loaded, still zero, still zero is still one. It should say image. And I could switch between other media I have loaded, but I can't load it from the SD card using the built-in menu that is right here, which to me is disappointing. I thought that was a thing. Would you use this as a standalone switcher or in addition to an ATEM Mini Pro or larger? There's a lot of overlap between this and an ATEM Mini. I have ATEM Minis. I have this one that I use as a sub switcher for this show, so that when I do a side-by-side, what's being switched over here is happening on an ATEM off to my side. So I can go between my laptop, the overhead view, the output of the GoStream, and things like that. What is switching this is the ATEM, and then the whole scene is what's being switched on the Director Mini. So that's where they come into play and complement each other. But given that you could do a lot of what this is being done directly in this one or the ATEM, they kind of overlapped except for the streaming capability. You know, the little one that I have, the ATEM Mini, not Pro, not ISO or anything like that. The ATEM Mini doesn't do streaming and recording and all the other things. Whereas the GoStream, I mean, you know, kind of the same size, you know, very similar size here. And it's doing a lot for the price. And the other thing I did not see over here in this mixer, go to overhead, in this mixer is I did not see NDI. Not in the settings, not in the, that's still plugged in? I don't need that plugged in. I just took out the media because it's just in my way. I did not see, so your stream outputs, and there's no scroll, audio mixer, that's not a very helpful thing. The switcher, color backs, upstream key, downstream key, fade to black, super source. Here's the super source that you can build a multi input, and it gives you some information there. It scrolls really fast. It just kind of jumps. And your settings, multi-view design, mic input. Like I said, the mic plus power is not powering my mic. And you can't choose the HDMI there. Your formats, your color space for your outputs, this is very capable out here. But I don't see, like if I come into in3, I don't see the ability to choose NDI. And they had mentioned NDI at NAB. They had mentioned NDI would be a input possibility in the GoStream, and I don't see it listed as a source, even though I've got an NDI source here ready and willing and waiting specifically for this demo, but I can't select it and get it in here as a source. But I would think that would likely go where aux is. So you're not going to get NDI and a USB audio source or video source. You're going to get either or, because that's that one customizable source. Unless they were to change it so that you could, on these guys, select SDI, NDI, HDMI on any of these as well. But like I said, I don't see it listed anywhere, so my guess is as good as yours as to where that's actually going to happen, because I don't know what the idea. Could it be still upload option? Still upload option. I don't know. Let's look. Let's go back to the Ultra and go here. Very weird. Maybe the little numeric keypad is just not being happy. There's a still selection. Let me make that bigger. Still selection. Let's get out of that. Still, let's get out of that. Still upload. And I say go in. I was here before, and I say go down, and I say load picture, and I'm rotating the dial, and nothing is coming up there. And if I say select, so it's not load, that load picture is not doing anything. So maybe that's a bug, because if it actually then came up with a menu that says, hey, on the SD card, I found all these images. And then you can just scroll through with the dial, and then say that one. And then, boop, that'd be location. Because then that would be cool, because it would make sense to do that, because up here you can say location 2 or location 1. I have no media. So let me select that. You come down here and say load. And I'm rotating the dial, and I'm entering, and there's nothing happening. So unfortunately, I don't think it's the still upload. Does not seem to be loading anything from the SD card, which I have inserted in here. Just for giggles, let me try a different card. Just for giggles. Interesting. Now there's a thing at the bottom. Load picture. I am rotating it. Interesting. It came up with a different thing at the bottom. Let me exit this and then come back into it. Oh, don't hit menu to hit enter. Still generator. Still upload. Location 1. Come down here, load. Nope. I've got multiple SD cards, and it didn't want to load from any of them. So that is not working. Or that is not the way that it is done, or something else is going on. But that is something to be worked on in the future. Hopefully that's what I would hope is the goal is to be able to do it all in here and not require a laptop to be able to go get a still from the SD card and load it into the still store and take another one and put it into 2 and another one and put it into 3 and another one and put it into 4. And then once you're here, you can then hit still and cycle through your stills and whichever. Like if let me just try something. Come up 3 and I hit record. And I hit record. It's not recording. Oh wait, let's stop. I hit record. There, now it's recording. And then I hit stop. Then I hit play. I'm wondering if it will play videos that playback. Playback. Okay. Let's get rid of the menu. Get rid of the menu. And go to play. I don't know where playback is occurring, because pushing the play button is not bringing up a clip. So that is one I'm going to have to learn for the tutorial that I will make on this, that is going to be much more in depth and less figuring things out. But It's a shame. Thanks for trying. Hey, that's what the point of a live show is. You're here, I'm here, and we both get to try these things out together. And again, I thank you all for being here for today's show, where we did take a first early look at the GoStream. That button works, and then this button works. Very weird. Where we did take a good first look at the Osee GoStream. Found a couple things that I can send them a note on, ask for clarification, figure out how to do. And I find this to be a very powerful thing. There's a couple things like the NDI, loading media, recording the memory, recording the macros that I think will really pay off in terms of being able to switch between 8 different inputs, 8, 9, potentially 10 different inputs on this switcher in a live show. But it remains to be seen how well or how all of that really comes together, because as I learned in today's show, loading stills and video from your SD card, at least in version 2.1, which is the one that's on here, and I loaded it up yesterday, that is not yet a possibility with what's here. And I do look forward to seeing what they are going to do, because as we talked about earlier in the show, these things are under constant development. What the features are today may not be what the features are next week. It may have not completely different, but it may have very different features. All of a sudden, it may be able to load an NDI source. All of a sudden, you'll be able to load media from the SD card without using a computer at all. And that would be very welcome. Those were things I thought it did, but those are things that today I learned are not as implemented as I thought they were when we started the show. Bert asks, can you use StreamTEK and Companion? I will say yes, because if you go to the Osee Tech website, they actually have a companion module for download. So they have gone to the trouble to already pre-program things and put them into the companion module. I don't have companion loaded on this laptop, even though I did put on my desk my companion or my StreamTEK so that I could try that out, but I didn't get to actually setting it up and making it so I could try and do that today as well. Greetings, do you still have your sponsorship deal with Dr. Pepper? Wink, wink. Yes. Yes, I do. Thank you very much. Gives me an opportunity to just segue right into having a sip and quench my thirst, because I have been talking for almost 2 hours. And I appreciate you all being here and being part of this show. Once again, if you are watching on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook or X, then feel free to, I'm trying to get my fingers over there and bring this up like that. Feel free to join me on YouTube, which is where all the content resides, here on the StreamTEK channel on YouTube. Also, there is a Facebook page called StreamTEK. We have 76 followers, 51 likes. Things get posted there. And then feel free to give me a review. Somehow I have 0 reviews. And throw a review in there. Say that I provide good content. Over here, Streaming Media Producer at streamingmedia.com. You'll see content for video producers like you and me, and you can sign up for free email newsletters for when content gets posted. And then if you need to reach me, you can reach me at stream4.us. There's a contact form right up there. And if you're looking to buy some gear, feel free to go over to the StreamTEK Curated store at Videoguys. The link is in the description, where you can buy PTZ cameras, Kilo View, YOLO Box, and different things. You'll find lots of affiliate links in the description of all my videos, so that help me make 50 cents. I appreciate it. And I get, once again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we have this really good, scrolling down here, conversations series with different video producers from around the world. And if you know someone who would be good for the conversation series, send me a message through the Stream for Us page, or through Facebook, or through LinkedIn, with a link to that person, and make an introduction. And I would love to have an opportunity to interview more video producers from around the world. Lots of different cultures, lots of different people. You see over there, there's a good mixture of men and women from around the world who are doing live streaming. So let me, shine the spotlight on someone else. Once again, my name is Anthony Brooks. I am the chief gearhead here at StreamTEK, and Stream Technology on YouTube, and Stream Technology on Facebook. And with that, I am going to bid you all adieu, and I will look forward to talking with you next week.